welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Lauren and I live in Tassie, in southern Tassie, with my hubby and two young boys. And on my channel I love to talk all things life. I love to talk about morals and ethics and how we live our lives and what our compasses are in the directions that we take in life. I really like to talk about lifestyle and things that we're doing on the farm. We are on a journey to reducing our waste, eating more seasonally and producing our own food. In today's video though, I thought I would do a how-to puppy. This video is just going to have a few tips about getting a new puppy, specifically a Labrador, because that's what we have gotten. We've had her for maybe a couple of months now. She was 8 weeks old when we first brought her home, and she is a chocolate lab. She's currently playing next to me, and I thought I would do a little video about what it's really like to bring a puppy home. So let's get into it. So we already have quite a busy household. We have, like I mentioned, two young boys who are 7 and 3, and we are trying to slow our lives down, but it is still quite busy with family life and all of the things that go on in between. So bringing Luna home was something that was very calculated. We had been thinking for a very long time about when we would like to bring a puppy home, Grant and I. Grant is my husband. We have always wanted a puppy way before the kids were even born. It's something that we've always spoken about, and then once the kids came along, it was something that we had to think a little bit more carefully about, I guess, in terms of when we were going to bring the puppy home, because it is a huge commitment. We've both had dogs in our family life, but never as adults, so this was my first adult puppy. So we have heard that it is a huge commitment. You have to be willing and able to make that commitment, and essentially bring, like, what's a newborn baby home into your space. So yeah, we really we have quite a bit of other things going on in life, kind of other areas in life that we are wanting to develop and grow in and learn about. So a puppy was something that we had to really wait for the right time, and I'm so glad we did, because it is full on, it is busy, it's amazing. Yeah, another thing was really part of our decision making process in terms of when we were going to bring Luna home was our eldest son Harper, who is 7, has autism, so he really struggles in social settings. He struggles to make that connection in social spaces at times, and to kind of understand those social cues and norms, I guess, and that can be at times quite isolating in terms of how he builds and sustains friendships and relationships. So we also did quite a bit of research into dogs that are really brilliant in terms of companionship and mateship and having that connection. And Labradors are certainly the dogs that we did the most amount of research into and decided to go with, and it's been really beautiful actually. With the struggle, there's also been really beautiful moments between Harper and Luna, of where Harper is just still with Luna and they're just sitting together and just looking out at life and reflecting and pondering, and you can tell that they've got such a beautiful connection developing, which is really lovely. Pretty much instantly we could see that it was really beneficial for Harpy to have someone in the house, that he didn't have to have that pressure of interaction or a flow of a conversation or be guided by any sort of, I guess, standard social norms, and it's been really lovely. So what shall we talk about first? I guess firstly it's good just to talk about preparation. So the amount of thought, effort and process that you want to go through before you even bring puppy home. So obviously this is quite different for everyone, depends on your life situation, your circumstances and how you kind of want to get things rolling. But now actually reflecting on it, I think I was almost methodical in my preparation. Well, Grant and I were methodical. It was almost like we were preparing for a new baby to come home. So once we'd really decided, yep, we're gonna get a puppy, it's happening, this is it, we started slowly building things up. We slowly started doing research into things like how we want the puppy to sleep, where we want the puppy to sleep, how we're going to start training once the puppy's home. So those things I'll go through as well in this video. Yeah, so before Luna even came home, we had pretty much everything for her for the first few weeks, and I think that also really helped me in terms of making it a more enjoyable, flowing experience, because I thought just bringing a puppy home in itself, introducing her to the boys and everyone kind of finding their feet with this new energy and dynamic that's in the house was going to be enough, let alone having to kind of think about what Luna has in the house that's for her and is going to help her settle into a new routine. Yeah, we first decided that we were going to get Luna when she was 2 weeks old, and we picked her up when she was 8 weeks old, so that was a fair wait in between, and there was just no point in even mentioning it to the boys because it would have been like nightmare for the next, you know, ensuing weeks until pickup day actually came. Yeah, we told them, actually no, we didn't, sorry. We didn't tell them at all. We did not tell them at all. We just got home with a puppy. So, and that's kind of how we wanted to do it. We didn't want it to cause any kind of anxiety or kind of inability to cope with whatever else was going on at the time with Harpy. We just wanted it to be something that just happened, I guess. And I mean, over the years with Harpy, we have spoken about, when do you think we should get a puppy? Like, he's been a part of that ongoing conversation, which has been really, really nice. So it's definitely something that we've sort of touched on and explored together over the years. In actually bringing her home, we decided that it was best just to not say anything, and we got home with her one day and it worked out really, really well. It actually was really nice, and I think it would have been quite different if Harpy knew that she was coming home, whether it was the night before, 2 nights before, or 6 months before. It would have been a very different process for everyone, so that worked really, really well for us. So I guess once we decided that we were going to get Luna, we made our first payment, we paid for Luna over the weeks that were to come, and then sort of made the final payment around the time that we picked her up. We started to do research into things like sleeping, playing, you know, what is it like to have a puppy at home, and we really started to learn about kind of what we were going to be in for once Luna was here. And I kind of YouTubed what's it like to have, you know, Labrador puppy, bringing Labrador puppy home. I also had heard about crate training, and it's something that I really liked the sound of, so I did a lot of YouTubing and a lot of reading online as well about crate training and the advantages. So really, to me, crate training really just feels like having bub in a set spot when you bring a baby home. It creates consistency, a little space of safety and comfort. It creates a routine, and it creates some sort of a flow at different times of the day. What I read into, it said really make the crate a fun space for your puppy when they get home. Make it really approachable, make it fun and safe for them, make them feel like they want to go in there, and then reward, you know, when they do go in there, reward them for going in there, and never reprimand for them coming out, because they should be able to during the day come in and out as they want to, and then at night we lock it up and she stays in there. We cover her up with a couple of sheets that I've got over there at the moment. It was kind of a bit of an evolution in terms of how she got used to the crate. She really liked it when she was a puppy and first got home. I think it was her little sacred place of retreat, especially around the kids. She ended up taking herself in there because it was covered as well, which my online research said they really like, because it makes them feel like they're enclosed and protected in sort of a cave-like environment. It was nice and snuggly and dark. So she went in there as a little retreat. She just took herself in there. Then I guess as she kind of got a little bit more comfortable with the home environment, she would also take herself to different spaces in the house just to snuggle up and sort of have a bit of quiet time. Basically at night time, what we did was we would say, well, when she was really, really little, I would just place her kind of ridiculous. She's so big now. Oh my goodness. When she was really little, I'd just carry her in and put her into her crate, and she would just curl up, cuddle up. Oh, no problems. And now as she's getting a bit older, she's hitting a little bit of attitude. So she knows when I'm putting her to bed, because we kind of put her to bed and I have no idea if this makes a difference. No idea. I guess I'm just used to having routines with kids. But we put her to bed between 8 and 8:30 every night. So generally what happens is she is tired and ready for a snooze sort of between 4 and 6 or whatever it is. So that's kind of works really well, because that's our super busy time with the kids. When they're having dinner and bath and getting ready for bed and winding down for the day, she's kind of just sleeping, which is really nice. Then we put them to bed, and then it's kind of like her playtime for maybe an hour or an hour and a half, depending on how she's feeling and depending on how active her day has been. So that's when Grant and I are kind of winding down as well. We'll have a cuppa together, and at the same time we'll play with her. Then between 8 and 8:30 I'll take her out for a wee. Take her out to the same spot every time. So she's got her little wee patch now out in the yard, and I always make sure that I've got treats on me, always to continue that and have consistency in that positive reinforcement. She goes out, she gets a treat. She does a wee, she gets a treat. She comes inside, she gets a treat. And then I say, come on, bedtime, and we'll come into bed. I'll open up her crate door and she'll generally take herself in. You want to show them how you go in? Yeah. So she's pretty happy in there. It's really good. Hey, you like it in your crate? I mean, there's a toy in there now, so, but it's not the point. The point is that she will willingly go in there and, you know, she likes it. That's kind of her little space. It's her bedroom. Now, because she's too big to pick up and carry around, I'm not doing that. Now she brings herself in and takes herself into her crate. I'll just shut the door over. Then I've got one sheet over the top for her, and then another kind of blankety thing that I use to cover the front, and then it's nice and snuggly in there, and that's it. And then in the morning, we've been really lucky. She's kind of slept through the night since we got her. Might have gotten up a couple of times overnight when she was teeny tiny, but I only did that for a few nights. So we're really lucky, because apparently some puppies can not sleep through the night until much later in their kind of puppy, adolescent, toddler, whatever life. When she wakes up in the morning, she'll just kind of let out like a little, and that means it's time to wake up and go out and do wee. So, and that's worked really well. We bought the crate before she came home. We decided to get this size. We don't have a separator in there because this size isn't big enough to have a separator. They say that the dog should be able to turn around inside, obviously not be cramped, not be at any risk or danger of you know, being sort of huddled up and not safe. And we've put some blankets in there for her. When we picked her up from the breeder, because Luna is a Labrador from a breeder, we've decided to purchase her from a breeder for a number of reasons, and I certainly encourage you to look at all of the different options for when you are bringing a fur baby home. I think if we were ever to get any more pets in the future, it would definitely be from a rescue home, a shelter, RSPCA, something along those lines, and that's really what we wanted to do. But for a number of reasons we decided not to do that. We decided to go with a breeder. We're very happy with our decision in this instance. Yeah, it's worked out really well. What was my point? Oh yeah, so when she came home with a blankie that had the smell of the rest of the litter and her mama on it. And she also came home with a little toy. So initially we put those in her crate as well, with a bed that we had bought for her. It's really warm and snuggly, as well as her toy that had been sent home and her blanket. And I mean, it's just gone really well. Like, I think we've been really lucky with crate training. It's just like she's kind of known what to do, and it's been all good. Yeah, so really happy with our decision to do crate training. It's worked out really well, and that leads me into just a quick little pointer of how we've done things. We didn't do any sort of indoor toilet training. We just took her out really regularly. So I want to just straight away like do the outdoor training thing, and I knew that would mean that there would be a few accidents inside, and boy were there a few accidents. Lots of accidents. But that's okay. That's kind of the choice that we made. That's how we decided to do it, and I'm actually really happy with that decision, because now, I mean, she's still kind of toilet training, definitely, but she goes to the back door sometimes. I mean, most of the time we still put her out really regularly, so there haven't been that many accidents, because she's much more of an indoor-outdoor dog now that she's a bit older and she's more confident and she's not like terrified of the world. She'll go to the back door and I'll say, oh, do you want to do wee? And I'll open the door and she'll take herself out to her wee patch. So it's been awesome. And again, like whenever that happens, there's lots of treats, like positive reinforcement all the way, and it's been really good. So Ew. The things that we bought before bringing Luna home, I've only got a few of them actually, and now Luna has taken off with mine. Anyway, so I've got a couple of soft toys. Hang on, I'll go get them. Yeah! So we've already had a few casualties in terms of toys, but basically the underlying philosophy of having lots and lots of toys is that you should always have a toy in your hand, because puppies will nip and puppies will kind of nip and nibble. They kind of onto the ear and they do all of that jazz, so they really have no idea about what our expectations are on them, you know. When you get a puppy, that is a huge thing to realize, and I guess I realized that before we got Luna, but not to the extent that you really realize it once you bring a puppy home and it's like real life. We always have toys in our hands, so she is learning to play positively with us and not nibble. If she is nipping or nibbling, we have a way of dealing with that. Also, we'll kind of expand on that once she's had all of her shots and we can start some puppy school. We'll get some really good like reinforcement about, you know, what we're doing, if it's good or not good, and kind of how to keep that consistency going between what we've already been doing since day one and what kind of they say to implement with a puppy when training and teaching. Like I said, there's already been 2 casualties. Expect the casualties because it's gonna happen. This is her piggy. She loves to play tug of war with these. It's good to have toys that have lots of different kind of textures and lots of different consistencies to chew on and kind of pull against. So this is like what we play a bit of indoor fetch with and also tug of war with, and she just loves it. No squeaky in this one. We did have an awesome little brown puppy that had a squeaky in it. That was her favourite actually, which is probably why it's been torn to pieces. And I'm not sewing them back together because there's so much slobber in those bad boys. Anyway, the brown puppy with the squeaky is gone, so we might even replace that once Miss Piggy checks out. This is another one that we have. That'd be some crazy disco lights. It's got obviously the ball inside. This one's really soft and this really hard up here, so it's really like good different textures to chew on. Then we've just got like a little super bouncy ball bought from anywhere. This one is rad, so good, and this has been really good when we've started to train her in fetch, so that was a really good one. This is her favorite. I would definitely recommend, if you were getting a puppy, getting something very similar to this. It's just rope, but this has a bit of stretch in it as well, and it's got a really good handle here. When she was teeny tiny, like, you didn't need the handle at all, but now she's getting older and bigger, like, this is some serious fun, this toy for her. So this has been one of the best toys, I think. Really good, like, to have that positive play, build up that bond as soon as they get home and get to know each other through play, which I think is really cool. And then we've got lots of balls that we play with outside that we play fetch with, and that's how we practice that. And then this, I just thought I'd show because this is something that I bought pre her arriving home as well. This is just her little treats container. It's always full, and basically at the moment we are giving her these little treats. It's not going to focus. Which is like mackerel and lamb and something else potentially. They're like raw food treats. They say to try and avoid treats from the supermarket, so these ones are kind of really raw whole food treats, which is really good for them and really delicious. So they've been brilliant. Pretty much have them on me all the time. Another tip that I have would be to research puppy training before you bring puppy home, so you really have a good idea in your mind of how you want to train your puppy and kind of what path you want to go down, what methodology you want to go down, and then kind of how you want to find that initial groove with puppy training. Like I said, we've never had a puppy before. This is our first family pet and it is a learning curve. I did lots and lots of research. What is consistently said across the board is that you should start some form of or element of training as soon as your little puppy gets home. 4 main things: sitting, staying, coming when they're called, and toileting. So they were my 4 main pillars of the training implementation that I wanted to start straight away. So she came into a home where she knew that this is like where the bar was being set and this is how we were going to move forward together as a family. Do your research, basically. I mean, I could tell you a little bit about how we're doing it, but I've kind of touched on it anyway. Initially, I guess, when she didn't know her name and she was still learning, because now she'll come from the other side of the farm pretty well. She still has times when she's like, yeah. But most of the time she comes now from the other side of the farm, and we've got about 3 acres, and she'll hear her name straight away, her ears will prick up and she'll come like bolting across, which is so cool. But initially when she didn't know her name, you don't want to be like Luna. It was really gentle in how we kind of introduced and started teaching her name, and basically like any sign of awareness or like recognition that she has that you're saying a word to her is to be rewarded. If I would say Luna, slight prick of the ears, anything, like reward her when she makes eye contact with you. Yeah, it kind of just evolves from there. Once it got to the point when she was coming when she was cold, I would give her 1 treat for coming, and then I would get her to sit and give her another treat. So that's kind of like 2 things rolling into one. And then once she was coming really consistently, I would give her a few treats just after she'd sat. And then I'd give her a few treats instead of like breaking them up. So that kind of like just makes it a nice smooth like one command, and that's worked really, really well for us. The other thing, toileting when she was little, up until quite recently really, because I think she's about maybe 3.5 months now, and we got her at 8 weeks, so now she's what, 12 and a bit weeks. We were taking her out really regularly, which was really hard actually, but I would probably do it again. I would still do it again because I'm not keen on like cleaning up, well, which I did anyway, I guess it's just in a different form. I guess I didn't want to clean up wee and poo that I was encouraging her to do inside in a certain spot. I decided fairly early on that I would be willing to get up with her through the night, take her out fairly regularly to make sure that she would go to the same wee spot as she kind of learnt more and more about toileting. Like I said before, now when she goes to the back door, I'll open up the back door and she'll take herself out and she'll go to that same wee area. So consistency is definitely something that I would absolutely recommend in preparing yourself for like hardcore consistency when you have a puppy, because that is how they learn. Positive reinforcement, and positive reinforcement within the framework of consistency. Nice neat package. Now we're kind of really trying to build that resilience and independence in her, and she takes herself out, she's familiarizing herself with the outside environment. And obviously like we spend quite a bit of time outside as a family as well on the farm, gardening, so that's really good. She's getting used to all of us being out there as well, doing our thing while she's doing her thing, and we're playing together, and then like it's really good opportunity through play to keep that consistency in training as well. I guess my other tip would just be prepared to have a new element and level of patience. So definitely if you're a family and you've got kids already, even if you don't have kids, but I guess from my perspective, this is coming from a place of already having kids, you end up realizing that not only are you training a puppy, but you're also training the children to be around the puppy. So there's things that have been like a big struggle, mainly in terms of the kids just want to be like, it's a toy, I want to squish it and cuddle it and kiss it and love it. It's about really straight away like telling the kids she's not a toy, she's an animal, she feels pain, she feels love, all of that jazz. Like you've got to give her a space and kind of really wording them up. They don't understand what a puppy's like, so you know, they used to sit down and she would straight away be like, awesome, chew toy, which is not great. So it's been really like consistent right from the very first hour that Luna was in the house, saying to the kids, you must always have a toy in your hand, so she chews that and not you. They're just my few tips on kind of what to expect when you're bringing a puppy home. There is a fair bit to do just before you even bring puppy home, and then kind of a whole new level of stuff, an element of things happen. There's a lot of stuff that you can do before puppy even gets home, so really good to have a think about kind of the process, if that's how you roll. Otherwise, just get your puppy and do it how you do. You do you. I like preparation. That leaves me in a much nicer place of being able to have fun, share the love, and enjoy a process if I've got like the practicalities taken care of, and then we can go from there. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope some of my info and tips, I guess if you want to call them that, have kind of got you thinking or like helped in some way. If you're thinking about bringing a puppy home, feel free to let me know in the comments below if you have a puppy, if you're getting a puppy, or what's going on. Speak to you soon. Bye.